I'm going to be jumping in for James Hamilton this evening. Jack Tank Shaw, who is going to be competing for the next Cage Warriors belt down in Cardiff coming up in September. Jack, how are you this evening, buddy?
Yeah, all good, Lou. All good. How are you?
I'm very well. Glad to see you. Second up, we've got Cameron Wright, who's here to talk to us a bit about arena fight promotions that also went down on the weekend. Cameron,
all right, sir. How's it going? Not too bad. It was good.
Yeah, nice to have you on, buddy. And of course, the boss man himself, Peter Knox, owner of MMA UK. Pete, you in good form this evening?
I'm a bit unprepared, but hopefully. But can I ask Jack a question? Can you show me your guns, Jack?
You want to take it to the gun show?
Oh, look at that.
Biggest bantamweight guns in the country.
So, yeah, Tank, first of all, buddy, you got flown out to Belgium on the weekend to watch Cage Warriors 94. First thing I want to ask you, I was watching your Instagram story. Seemed like you were on about 20 flights out of Belgium. Which way did they fly you? Belgium, fly Australia or something, was it?
Well, the way they weren't too bad, they flew me to Amsterdam and they tucked me up with like a 6-hour stopover and then flew me straight to Belgium. But then on the way back, we got on the plane to fly to Amsterdam. We sat in there for an hour and a half, didn't take off. They pulled us off, said there was something wrong with the plane. So then we had to fly to Dublin and stay in Dublin for 6 hours, and then they flew us to Cardiff eventually. So we should have landed Sunday 10 a.m. and we ended up landing something like 5 p.m. So it was a bit of a mess about really, but what can you do? Can't complain. It was a free flight courtesy of Cage Warriors, so I won't complain too much.
Yeah, long old day then, but they have to start if you get that belt, Tank, they're gonna have to start paying up for the first class flights, I think.
That's it. Yeah, I told them I want a leg room next time. I'm sick of being cramped in at the back.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously it was a great card. We saw the main event between Brian Poulon and Ilio Tapuria. That was going to be for the vacant bantamweight belt. Obviously Nathaniel Wood's now gone to the UFC. Obviously it was a bit of controversy because Tapuria missed weight and then went on to win the fight by a Darce choke. What do you think of that fight, Tank?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it went the sort of way I thought it would go. I knew that Tapuria would come out fast and hard, and I knew if he got a takedown early that you'd have a very good chance of getting that sub in the first round. As good as Bouland is on the feet and with his power punching, I don't really rate his wrestling game. So I saw not seeing it coming. That's a bit cliche to say, but I thought, if you could get a takedown early, that you would get a sub, and obviously that's what happened. Slick transition, and it was a nice finish.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought he looked very, very good. Even a little bit better than I thought in the wrestling department with that takedown. I don't know if Cameron or Pete, if you got a chance to watch it. I know you were away, obviously, at the arena, but what did you think of that fight, if you saw it?
Yeah, I managed to get a wee chance to watch it the other day there, and it was some slick grappling skills. I was very, very impressed, but I was hoping that we'd maybe get to see a wee bit more on the feet and kind of see where his striking game had developed, but it was still impressive nonetheless, I think, so.
Yeah, I think the only disappointing thing now is obviously that he missed weight. That would have obviously been...
Yeah.
I mean, Pete, I know you wanted to speak a bit about this. Why do you feel it happens now? Obviously, he missed weight. Does he get the next shot? Or is it just they're going to have to find someone else?
Well, I've not really seen the fight, so I've not got much preparation for this. But what I've got is Fat Boy missed weight. Fat Boy won. Fat Boy gets no Fat Boy gets no title. Fat Boy should have to make weight in another fight to prove that he can make weight again. Fat Boy finally gets his title shot but loses to a Tank.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I think lose. How much did you lose? Miss the weight by? It was quite a bit, wasn't it?
£5. So you didn't come close.
Yeah, that's not even close. That's taking the piss. So no, he doesn't get a shot.
I think the risk is as well. Obviously, you saw in the UFC, you had Yoel Romero missed against Luke Rockhold, and then they give him another shot to fight Whittaker, and he missed weight again. So I mean, from what I've seen, I don't see any sort of proof that he will make. If they put him as a headliner against Tank in Cardiff, I don't see any proof that he's going to make weight again. Personally. I mean, what's your thoughts on it, Jack? Obviously, you're the one who's going to be taking the fight. Would you rather? Well, I know it's one of those things you won't really have a choice if Cage Warriors say it, but which would you rather? Would it be to fight Tapuria or to take someone else who you're more comfortable make the weight?
I mean, listen, it don't really make no odds to me who I fight. I always say it. It's not my job to match the fights. Ian Dean matches the fights. If he says I'm fighting Tapuria, then I'm fighting Tapuria. If he says I'm fighting someone else because Tapuria is too fat to make the weight, then he says that. The problem is, if he had made weight on the weekend, it was in his contract that he would be fighting me now. The fight would be signed, and it would already be promo in that fight. So, you know, he's talking a bit on Twitter saying, "Oh, I'm running from him and this and that," but it's out of my hands. I said, you know, if he had made weight, me and him would be scrapping now in September. So, like I said, don't make a great deal of difference to me who I fight. You know, regardless, there's no way I'm not going to win that belt in Cardiff, whoever's in front of me. So, you know, it's completely Cage Warriors' call.
Yeah, and he's been talking a bit of trash, as you said. Is that something you enjoy in the build up to a fight? Is someone talking trash and building it a little bit?
He's one of them ones, and we're in the McGregor era at the minute, so I think there's only a select few of us who are not putting on that fake persona of being this trash talker online. You know, he's the reason he's talking trash is because he knows he's messed up and he missed the weight. If he had made weight on weekend, he was the champ. No, he wouldn't be talking no trash because he he knows the fight to be happening anyway. He's talking trash to try and bait in a bit internet hype to try and, you know, get me to bite and say, "Oh, come on now, I'll fight. Don't worry about the weight." But like I say, I'll fight them, no questions asked. But it's not my call. It's, you know, I can see if Cage Warriors don't use him, I can see why. You know, they've just had the main event sort of have a bit of an anticlimax on the weekend on a big card because of him. You know, he missed weight and you know, Bulan didn't win, so the bantamweight title is still vacant, sort of thing. So if they don't want to take that risk on him, you know, I can't blame him. I don't suppose £5 is, you know, it wasn't even like it was a near miss. You know, you said about Yoel Romero then. Yoel Romero missed by what, 0.5 of a pound?
0.2, I think.
He come in this guy coming like what, £5 overweight? That's closer to featherweight than it is bantamweight. So, you know, it's like I say, it's up to them. It's unprofessional on his part not to make weight, but if they put him in to fight me, then, you know, I ain't gonna ask no questions. I'm gonna turn up and fight.
Yeah, and obviously that's going to be held in Cardiff in the Ice Arena. Bigger event than obviously you'd usually get in the Newport Arena. How much are you looking forward to that, Tank? I think it's definitely going to be the biggest one we've had in Wales for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's I've been saying, you know, for about a year now that you know, I think the Welsh card have sort of outgrown the Newport Centre a little bit. You know, the boys who also fight on the card, we're like scavengers to get more tickets to sell. You know, we can't sell enough tickets for the show again. You know, I think the last time I fought in Newport, I sold 200 tickets, 210 tickets, something like that, and I could have probably done double. So the fact that they've shown a bit of faith in the Welsh scene and, you know, they prepared to upgrade the venue is a good thing for Welsh MMA as well as myself. Obviously, it gives us a bigger platform, and from my point of view, you know, it gives me a chance to sell out the bigger arena and build our hype even more.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great night. I'm really looking forward to that one, the biggest one we've had for a while. And yes, it's something that is really highly anticipated in Wales now. But obviously on the weekend we had another big promotion, which is up in Scotland, which was Arena Fight Promotions. I know Pete and Cameron, you were both there. Cameron, can you tell us a bit about Arena Fight Promotions and what that was like over the weekend?
Yeah, it was you know, first tryout for Stevie Ray and his partner Gary Patterson, I think his name was. But a brilliant show. Of local fighters. There was a mix. There was actually some international fighters there as well competing in Sanda, which was a lot more technical and impressive than you would have expected from you know, what was being put out in the MMA level. You know, it was quite an amateur centric event essentially for a lot of guys. It was their first fights. But the Sanda stuff, wow. Although that's not to say there was a number of fights on that card. I think Peter might agree. There's a number of fights on that card that were spectacular, to be honest. There was a head kick battle back and forth. I think that was Stephen Hay and Robert Moore. That ended up in a draw, purely because it was just a back and forth battle. The main event was very interesting, if a little a little upsetting. There was some low blows in that fight that did seem to, well, ultimately there was a point deduction which affected the outcome of the fight, I think. But
3 points.
3 points deducted. So that was not the way you would expect it to go.
And it still went to a split decision.
Yeah, still went to a split, so that kind of tells you what the fight was like. But there was an upkick knockout, which was one of the kind of most spectacular things I think I've seen in the amateur scene for as long as I can remember. It was I think that was that Bradley Scott? I think no. Sorry, Aaron Towns. My mistake. Sorry, it was Aaron Towns with that, who'd actually only fought on top a few weeks back. So very impressive from him.
Yeah, and Pete, obviously there's quite a few promotions up in Scotland now, sort of going about. Where does this one fit in relation to the others at the moment?
Well, Gary's done a few Immortal shows before, so he's kind of got the experience. So he's teamed up with Stevie Ray to do Arena in Fife, whereas there's no any other shows there at the moment. They've got big plans, big ambitions. That was that was a nice arena. I think it holds 3,000, so it was quite very ambitious for their first show. Try that, but I think 500-600 people they got. It was no bad attempt at their first show. Considering a lot of the fighters were making their debuts, nobody had heard of half of them. Then they did that Chinese kickboxing as well, which was very impressive. As I said, they've already planning their next show. I think they're going to stay in the area for a moment. I think they're going to go for a couple of smaller shows, and then I think they've got big plans for a big show next year. There was a lot of teething problems on the night. Even us for doing interviews, we lost our first interview. We ended up having to do the interviews in the arena in front of everybody, so they had to halt the fights. Every time a fight finished, they had to wait till we done an interview. It actually turned out quite good in the end, all the interviews and stuff. There was problems with the lighting. The show ended up going overrunning by 2 hours, but everybody, they've seen the positives in it, so I'm sure they'll correct that the next time round.
The atmosphere was good the whole way through. I think they never, even the problems almost added to it because people were, champing at the bit to see the fights go ahead. So.
Yeah, in shows in Scotland, that's probably the first show I've been to where you can get food as well as drink. There's a cafe and all that, which makes a big difference because people after a few drinks want to have something to eat at the end of the night as well. So, no, overall it was a great show, and they say they've got big plans in the future. Obviously, the 2 big ones in Scotland right now is On Top and Headhunters, and I think within a couple of years, Arena will be up there, and I think they've got plans to beat the #1 show as well. So I can't. Also, the winner of every fight got a sword, custom-made wooden sword.
Yeah.
And they're actually. I'm not even sure if I can say this, but the next fight they're going to do the swords again for the army, but for the pros they're going to make up Thor axes for the winners instead of having belts and stuff. So they're trying to be a bit different. And just before we go on, you were talking about how the Welsh have got these big shows. To say we're absolutely jealous of Wales right now. The shows that you're getting and the stuff you can get in the future, because at the moment we had ACB a couple of years ago and nobody's came back since. We've not had Cage Warriors for years. Nobody seems to have any plans to come back up to Scotland. So we're jealous of you at the moment. Same with Ireland. They're getting Brave, Bama, Cage Warriors, UFC. They're getting a whole lot. So we're a bit jealous of you guys at the moment, but hopefully in the next couple of years we can build the scene up here. And I'm hoping Arena can start selling 2,000-3,000 tickets a show, and then maybe the big guys will go, right, oh, maybe worth coming up here. So
yeah, I think a lot of that is down to obviously Jack's fella Shaky. He works tirelessly with Cage Warriors and putting on big shows in the local area for us. So I mean, I'm sure you can testify to that, Jack. A lot he works to put these shows on, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was the same in Wales for years. When it was a bit of a long slog sort of thing. You had Pain Pit and Adrenaline and a couple of other smaller promotions, but I think like you said, once there's enough interest shown, the bigger shows start to come calling in. So hopefully for you guys, maybe a year or two in Scotland will be the same sort of scenario.
Yeah. Well, I would say though, Pete, Scotland has had a few UFC events, but Wales still hasn't had one, so we're a little bit jealous of you on that front.
But
yeah.
I think the issue that is because they don't have the arena perfect for Wales. I think we're lucky because if we didn't have the hydro, it might have been an issue. But because we got the hydro, that helps. But I think if Wales can find a venue, then it will definitely come. Definitely, especially when Jack signs. There we go.
Yeah. That's what they need. That's what they're missing.
Exactly. And before you go on, I'm looking at the comments and I'm getting some slag in here for my shirt in the comment section of YouTube. They're saying it's worse than my curtains.
I quite like it, Pete. That's
what I'm saying.
Tap out when you usually wear.
It looks like I'm the only person here that's made an effort tonight. You guys should be honoured.
They best not be slagging off my wife beater in the comments. I'll kick off.
I only wear this shirt on special occasions, no job interviews, funerals, you know what I mean? So you should be honoured that I'm wearing this.
No, I think it looks nice, Pete. Like I said, I think it's a step up from the tap out one you usually wear.
Much better than your polo necks anyway, Lewis.
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying absolutely nothing.
But obviously, speaking of UFC, boys, there's a big one coming up now on the weekend. UFC Singapore, which is going to be headlined by Cowboy Cerrone versus Leon Edwards. Really good fight. What do you think of this, Jack? I'll come to you first. What's your prediction for that fight? How do you see this one going?
I think, to be honest, it all depends on what Cowboy turns up. Obviously, Edwards is like the new young gun coming through from the UK, so it'd be nice to see him get the win because obviously he'll do better things for us over here. But I think if the Cowboy turns up sharp and how we seen him, when he went on that bit of a tear, then I think it'll be a close fight that you might sort of edge out on points. But I think if he starts slow like he has done in the past, then I think Edwards might be too much for him and overwhelm him a little bit early on. I'm 50-50 on it. It's one of them ones. It's really I think it could go either way depending on how they turn up on the night.
Yeah, and Cameron, can I get your thoughts on that fight as well and a prediction?
I definitely agree. I think it's definitely going to matter what kind of Cerrone turns up for that fight. He's had such a variety in performance lately, but if he does turn up on the night, it's going to be a good fight. And Leon Edwards always comes with it, so definitely excited to see that one.
Yeah, Peter, prediction?
Well, I thought it'd be an easy fight, an easy prediction, but the more I thought about it today, I thought no, it's a hard one to predict. I want to apologise to Cowboy because in the previous show I said he was finished after the Darren Till fight. I thought he was maybe on his way down, but then he proved us wrong by beating Janssen. This fight, I don't know. I watched a video of Cowboy today, and he's very, very, very confident. He reckons he can weather the storm, take it into the later rounds. Obviously, Leon's not done the 5 rounds before. So I think the longer the fight goes, it'll probably favour Cerrone. But it could be a case of the up-and-coming fighter just catching Cerrone at the right time, maybe on the way out. But one thing I like to say about Leon, though, because everybody goes on about how Cage Warriors and the UFC and how many fighters they got. Leon was a Bama fighter. So you should be bigging up Bama as well. There's a few Bama fighters in the UFC, but he's doing well. So it's nice to see some Bama fighters doing well as well, because I think we need a strong Bama in the UK to rival like Cage Warriors and all that, the better. Like we need a strong Bellator to rival UFC as well. I've actually got a question for Jack about that, mentioning Bellator, because I asked Ross Houston the same question, because Ross Houston's in a similar position. He's near enough on the verge of a title shot in Cage Warriors. So if I was Bellator, I'd be looking at this and going, well, he's maybe 1 or 2 fights for the UFC. Maybe we should offer him a Bellator contract right now. If the Bellator came to you and offered you a multi-fight contract, Jack, would you consider it, or would you stick with the plan and have a couple more fights in Cage Warriors, get a title, and then hopefully get your UFC shot?
I mean, I think it all depends really on the terms of the contract. Like I've known, for example, like James Gallagher have signed the Bellator, and they've promoted him well, they've kept him active, so they've done good things for him. But then there's other UK guys who have signed and they're fighting once a year. Which is not something I'm interested in. So, if that was the case, they sort of only wanted to use me for the UK shows. Then I think, to be honest, I'd probably just stay where I am with Cage Warriors. I personally think outside the UFC, Cage Warriors in Europe is the best platform to be on. Where you can get eyes on you, sort of thing. They're on BT Sport, UFC Fight Pass. So yeah, I'd probably just stick with the plan. Stay where I am and just keep plodding along, trying to work my way to the UFC and get that call up.
I think with Cage Warriors as well at the moment, they've obviously got the Fight Pass connection, so there's just so many more eyes on Cage Warriors than any other organisation outside the UFC, I would say. So, it definitely is the proving ground for UFC in a lot of ways, just because there's so many eyes on it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Lewis, about the UFC Fight Pass. I thought, well, the Americans will watch a lot of it, but obviously we've got a few American staff on their team, and I've asked them, they don't seem to know much about Cage Warriors, even though it's on Fight Pass. I was very surprised at that.
A big one I think that flies under the radar is the BT Sports deal. It's like, fighting, say, 9 o'clock on a Saturday night on BT Sports now is like having a Sky Sports contract, 10 years ago. I think it's quite big, and people sort of overlook that because of the UFC Fight Pass thing. But obviously, BT Sports is sort of taking over now, and as the main sort of sports broadcaster in the UK. So I think, especially UK and Europe wise, that attracts a lot of attention. I find and they're pretty active on their Twitter and Instagram as well. BT with when the shows are on, they're bigging up the guys on there. So I think that's a big one as well. I think it's BT has definitely drawn a lot more eyes since Cage Warriors has signed with them. They've drawn more eyes to MMA than maybe some of the other like the Channel 4s and Dave and that sort of thing. I think BT is pulling in, probably more viewers for the MMA show just because they got the UFC deal as well. So I think people sort of connect the dots.
What happens with the Cage Warriors when it goes to when UFC goes to ESPN? Pete, do you know that?
What's that?
You know, obviously they've got this new UFC deal with ESPN, and does that affect BT Sport having the fight in?
Well, actually, I was thinking that because a lot of people think Sky might try and jump in now with the ESPN deal and all that. I think there was an ESPN thing on our channels, isn't there? There's an ESPN Sports, isn't there? I think. But as far as I know, it won't affect it until somebody says something. At the moment, nothing's unaffected. It's mostly the Fox shows were mostly the Fight Pass shows, weren't they? And stuff like that. It's not the big pay-per-views. They don't have any of them, which BT show anyway. So as far as I know, they'll still show the prelims on Fight Pass, and then the main card will be on BT Sports, as far as I know at the moment. And I think BT Sports is doing a great job, and I hope it stays with BT Sports for the long term.
Yeah, fair play. One thing I would say as well, going back to what you said about the American staff, obviously not knowing too much about Cage Warriors, when I was actually out watching ONE FC, and I speak to a lot of the guys out there, they were saying, what Welsh fighters have you got? And the ones I mentioned obviously was Jack Shaw, Marshman, Brett Johns, and a lot of them did know. I was speaking to Martin Nguyen, and he knew of Jack from his last fight. He was watching the last Cage Warriors fight. So I think that it is obviously getting around quite a lot of those guys out in Singapore knew obviously of Tank, and obviously that Cage Warriors was a big up and coming show. So I think it is definitely spreading the word and getting a lot of publicity for it really. But yeah, moving on to the next thing we wanted to talk about was ACB obviously is coming to London now in a couple of months, and Brad Pickett is going to be returning for that. Can I get your thoughts on that? First of all, Cameron, what do you think of Brad? Obviously, he hung up the gloves a while back. What do you think of him making a return?
Yeah, I'm in two minds about this. Obviously, I can see he's been training a lot with Rob Whiteford, who's had a great time in ACB. I think that's maybe had a lot to do with why he's ended up there. When he hung up his gloves and he left his little pork pie hat in the octagon, it was a heart wrencher. I don't know. I think a lot of UK fans that I know were like, felt that one in the heart for all the kind of amazing fights that he's had over the years. To see him hang it up was difficult, but at the same time, it was kind of the right time for him. I think he said things along the lines of the fact that he'd taken a lot of concussions and a lot of damage in his career and felt that it was the right time. And that was, I'm not sure, was that a couple of years ago now that he retired?
I think it was the last London, not the last London card, the one before.
Yeah, it was about 18 months, wasn't it?
18 months ago.
So it's, if you felt that was the right time to retire, then what's really changed in 18? I mean, obviously, maybe if he's had less sparring and he's feeling better, he's healed up a bit. But can your brain really recover that much in that amount of time? I hope so. I hope he has a great fight, and I hope it goes really well for him, and we see the Brad Pickett of old. But I'm not sure. I'm not convinced until we'll see on the day.
And Jack, you're fighting yourself. What do you think of sort of retiring and coming back at Brad's age now? Do you think it's a good idea, or maybe you should have left it where it was?
I mean, he knows himself better than anyone, I suppose. So, if he feels, hopefully, he's not just coming back for the money sort of thing, and hopefully he's coming back because he feels like, he can still compete at a decent level. But personally, I feel like when he retired 18 months ago, I think that was the right time for him. He took a couple of losses. Obviously, he took a couple of concussions and stuff. So I think it was right for him to retire at the time. I'm not so sure about the comeback, but hopefully it goes well for him. I don't wish to see anyone fail in anything they do, really. So if he comes back, hopefully he comes back and he gives it his all sort of thing, and when he can put on exciting fights like he used to. But hopefully he's doing it for the right reasons, rather than just to make a bit of extra cash. Because I don't imagine all the fights he had in the UFC, I don't imagine he needs it. So hopefully he's doing it, just because he's missing that competitive edge.
Yeah. And Pete, I know you're a big Brad Pickett fan. What's your thoughts on this return?
Well, I agree with the two guys. I was thinking exactly the same thing, but I kind of see it from a different angle as well, because I see it from the ACB's angle, and they've done a few shows in the UK now. And one thing that's happened to every show, they don't sell a lot of tickets for whatever reason. They came up to Glasgow, they sold nothing. Same way, their recent show in Nottingham, it was a poor turnout with that. So they need to change something. And obviously, London, Brad Pickett, I think that'll sell a lot of tickets, especially for his first fight, to see how he gets on. So I think ACB have done the right thing from a promotional point of view. Me, I think it's a bad deal. I think he's taking too much punishment. He's had a long career. I think it's a bit much. But then again, it depends who he matches him. I know he's called somebody out, but if I remember recently, the ACB owner told fighters, you don't make the fights, I'll make the fights. So you'll get whoever we give you. But it'd be in ACB's best interest to kind of evenly match him up and have a good show. But as I say, I'll definitely be watching it, and I'll be rooting for Brad, whoever he gets. And if he goes out in the Shield, he'll go out in the Shield. He's a fighter at the end of the day. If that's what he wants to do, then only Brad can make that decision. So I don't think anybody can tell him not to do it. So best of luck to him as he goes for it.
Yeah, I think it's got to be difficult for him, like Jack said, obviously, about him still having that competitive edge. You know, he's training with Nathaniel, who's going into the UFC, winning fights in there. It's got to be quite difficult for him to sort of still be around that environment and step his foot off the gas. Do you think, Jack?
Yeah, of course. He's I know he's I think he's one of the main coaches at that gym. So obviously he's around a lot of young, hungry guys. So maybe that's what sort of pushing him back. And I imagine he's doing a bit of sparring with him and stuff. And maybe he's thinking, I can still hang with it. But at the same time, you know, he's got to think about his health as well. You know, he's not getting any younger. You know, he's you know, it's not insulting to say he's past his prime. So it's one of them ones. You know, like I said, he knows himself better than us. So I guess we just have to see how it goes.
Yeah. So obviously Brad's going to be making his return at the next ACB event. I'm personally looking forward to it just because I think it's a step down from the UFC. I think he's still got enough to compete at that level. And like you said, Pete, I'll definitely be tuning in and hoping that he does well.
But I've seen him a few times where he's filmed a few things. There was a interview he done with us, and we got him to say a line at the end saying, "Oh, tune in to MMA UK, #1 place." He kept getting the line wrong, and then I noticed other videos he was doing. He'd done a thing with Brian Lacey where he was meant to punch him in the arm and he missed. And I thought, is that anything to do with all the concussions and all that he's had and stuff like that? I don't know, but that's why I fear a bit for him. It's in the back of my head. Is that to do with his fighting career and all that? He seems he comes across as a bit clumsy, but I don't know if he maybe just a clumsy person in general. But
yeah,
cause we found it funny at the time, and then I started thinking about it. I thought, hang on a minute, this is maybe for damage for all the fights and all that he's had, because he's had a hell of a lot of fights and taken a hell of a lot of damage. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Like I said, I'm a big Brad Pickett fan myself, so I hope to see him come back and do well. Last but not least, the last topic I want to discuss tonight, speaking of comebacks, was a potential matchup. Obviously, like you said earlier, Pete, this might be a dead story, but we'll talk about it anyway because everybody else is. GSP and Floyd Mayweather is now a rumour that's floating around the mill. I'm just going to ask you boys yes or no question and give you the reason why. Start off with you, Pete. Would you like to see Floyd Mayweather either fight GSP in the UFC or in a boxing ring?
Who, me?
Yeah, you first, Pete.
No, it's fucking. I just think they're trying their luck. GSP came back for Bisping for one reason. He thought it was an easy fight, but she did struggle. I think he caught Bisping at the right time because I think he was starting to struggle in that fight and gas a bit, but he caught him. I just think then he gave the title up when he said he wasn't going to. So I don't think Dana White trusts him anymore either. I think he's wanting Conor, but if Conor gets the belt back, he's not going to give GSP a title fight because he'll win the title and then what will he do? Just throw the belt away again? Because I think he only wants one fight. I think he's just throwing the Mayweather thing out in the hope it might just get some legs and run with it, and they might end up getting it. I can't see it happening, but I think he wants the Conor fight, and he's angling for that in the long term. I don't know. He's looking for that big payday, I think, and then he wants to ride off into the sunset. I can understand why Dana wouldn't want to give him a title shot again if Conor ends up beating Khabib. I think Conor Khabib will be the next one, and then we'll see what happens. Because Tony Ferguson's in the mix there as well. There's a good trilogy of fights in there with those three fighters alone. So GSP's got this disease thing he's trying to beat. So he's obviously biding his time, ready to jump in for that big money fight when he gets it. As for the boxing v MMA thing again, I'm no interest. Don't get me wrong, if they set it up, I'll probably end up watching like everybody else, but I don't. There's a big size difference between him and Mayweather as well, so I don't know how they get to do a catch weight or whatever if it did happen. So I don't know. But I'm not interested in that.
Have you got any sort of interest in seeing this fight either in the boxing ring or in the cage?
No, I mean it's a pointless fight. If they fight in the ring, then Mayweather will school him like he did McGregor. If they fight in the cage, GSP will probably take him down and pound his neck in and around. So it's one of them ones, like Pete said. If it happens, yeah, I'll probably tune in and watch it. But it's not a fight that I'm busted. I'd be a lot more excited to see, McGregor and Khabib, or McGregor and Ferguson, or maybe, GSP and Whittaker, or GSP and Tyrone Woodley, that sort of thing. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's not something, that thrills me. The thought of Mayweather having an easy night against GSP in the ring, and vice versa. GSP having an easy night against McGregor in the cage. It's just a money maker. But no doubt if they make it, I'll tune in and watch. I know, but like I said, there's better fights out there to be made at the minute.
Yeah, I don't know if you agree with this, Cameron, but I think a lot of the time we're sort of delving now into more entertainment and sort of freak shows and actual evenly matched contests. What's your take on that?
Yeah, we're definitely in the WME IMG era of UFC management at the moment, when you hear a lot more about fantasy fights than you do about actual, talented guys getting the shots that they deserve. Unfortunately, people like Khabib had to wait for a very long time purely because he wasn't talking enough nonsense to get himself into the position to get the fight. But funnily enough, I don't see. I think GSP used to train with Khabib, I believe, but I don't hear him sort of screaming for that fight, which I think speaks volumes about about how high in esteem GSP maybe holds Khabib's skills. So, like Peter said, it'll be very interesting once Conor and Khabib fight, which probably is going to happen in the next year and a half, provided that Conor, his legal troubles get cleared up. But we want to see, the fans, I think, want to see quality MMA. That's what people want to see. But for whatever reason, they're kind of trying to push the stars and the drama and all this kind of thing, and that's it is a sideshow. It definitely is a sideshow.
Well, according to Khabib's dad, they're in negotiations right now. They're nearly complete for Conor Khabib at Las Vegas. Is it 229? So that's
interesting to do it in Vegas and not do it in Russia, or to do it in Ireland. Russia's
going to be a fight night. So
oh, really?
They wouldn't have Khabib or Conor.
Oh, yeah, with the Volkov. And
Khabib said after his last fight he wanted to fight in Las Vegas. So they've obviously said, look, big money for that one, whoever you're getting. But that's the fight they're trying to set up. I thought it's still a possibility. If they don't negotiate it, it might be the event after that, which is New York, which would be kind of ironic with Conor's court case and all that going on. So
yeah.
I think it is the fight that Khabib said he wanted, was either George St. Pierre or Conor McGregor on the next New York card. So I personally would love to see either one of those fights, to be honest. And I don't know what you guys would prefer, but I think that's the two fights that's going to be made. It's either George and Conor or Khabib and Conor.
I think George is waiting to see what happens with Conor and Khabib, who wins that. I don't think, if I was Dana, I wouldn't have given him a title shot, because I don't think George is going to be able to defend it if he was able to win it. I don't think he's here for a few more fights. I think he just wants that one big payday. If it's a close fight, maybe have a rematch and get another big payday. But I think George just wants that big payday before he goes off. Yeah. I don't know what George's contract is with the UFC. Is it a multi-fight contract or what? I don't know. I was trying to look for that today and I couldn't find it.
I know I did see him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said that he wants, if he come back, he would be for someone like Khabib. So I don't know if he's just saying that to get a bit of publicity or not, but that's what he said. So
he was quite funny on that podcast. I don't really like GSP. I don't like his style. He's a bit boring, but I respect him as a fighter and a martial artist and stuff like that. But he was quite funny on that. He was quite entertaining on that show. He was going on about aliens and poisoning Diaz and all that kind of stuff. It was quite funny.
He has taken his fair share of head trauma as well. I think that might be contributing to the alien chat possibly, but
yeah, that's one thing for George. He could take a hit. He would go down early, someone would catch him, but he'd always come back. So
he took one of the worst numbers of punches out of anybody over the fights with Robbie and with Hendricks.
Johnny Hendricks, yeah. I thought Johnny won that fight as well. So I thought he was unlucky.
Yeah, that was
until Johnny went fat on us and now can't get a fight. So.
Yeah,
USADA came in. I think that's what.
Definitely a USADA case.
But just quickly, I want to ask Jack, what do you make of GSP? Jack, obviously, he's one of the legends of the sport. Is he someone that you look up to and someone you sort of take a lot of things from when you fight? Because obviously, you're a great grappler. You like taking the floor, like to mix it up on the feet as well. Is he someone you sort of look up to in the sport?
Yeah, I'm a big, massive GSP fan. I think he's sort of. I mean, nowadays everyone sort of wants to be like McGregor, and they talk the shit and play play the bad guy. Whereas GSP for years sort of made his money off being the polar opposite, being the humble guy, the martial artist. And although his style sometimes isn't the most exciting style to watch, if you break it down, he's technically probably the best fighter, maybe alongside John Jones. Maybe he's the only other guy, or Mikey Mouse, to ever fight. And I think saying about him fighting Bisping, yeah, it was a bit of a, he knew he was going to win that fight, but he sort of come back after 4 years, didn't he, and looked as good as he's ever looked. So I got nothing but respect for him, and yeah, he's definitely someone, as a young fighter I look up to.
Yeah, excellent.
Actually, talking about Conor McGregor's impression on fighters at the arena last week, Cameron, was it Bradley Scott that was doing all the kicks? The leg kicks, wasn't it? Bradley Scott done the leg kicks.
Oh,
he was doing the spinning kicks like Conor as well. Was it him?
I think that may have been Kelson Duffy, possibly.
I don't. It was a guy anyway. He was doing the spinning kicks like Conor, and they were really good kicks. And you should have seen the state of the guy's leg. But when the fight was done, he gave it the Conor walk and all that. And then when we interviewed him, he was bigging it all up and all that. So obviously Conor's having a big impression on up and coming fighters. So you'll probably see a lot of Conor copyrights. But don't get me wrong, the guy can fight. He's got a great future ahead of him. But I'd rather a fighter was just himself and bigged himself up in his own kind of way rather than copying somebody.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for the humble fighter that can just talk with their skills, and those guys will always ascend anyway, because that's, like I said, I think that's what MMA fans come to see. Is you come to see those skills on display. So yeah.
I'm personally a very big fan of the humble fighter. I think especially someone like Jack, he's so popular down here in Wales because he's obviously does his talking in the cage, then very, very humble outside, very personable. And I think it goes a long way. It depends what you want. Like you said, a lot of people like to see the trash talking, but then at the same time, there are those who like to see sort of people be more humble and down to earth, really.
But Jack's got that steely look in his eyes. You can see it right now. It looks like he wants to kill you. I feel like I'm going to piss my pants here because I'm scared just the way you were staring there. He's got that steely look. You know Jack means business.
Stone Cold, that's it. That's Stone Cold Jack Show. That should be my nickname. Got a Stone Cold look.
Yeah. But Jack, obviously, we just mentioned it there. What does it mean to you having the support that you've got down here? Because especially the Blind and Gwent era, it's just absolutely mental, the people you've got following you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's overwhelming, to be honest. Sometimes, 3 years ago, I was still amateur, and I was selling 20 tickets for a fight. I was having my family and a couple of the boys come watch me. Whereas now again, people sort of stop me in Tesco's and stuff like that, and say, oh, when's the next fight? All the best, blah, blah, blah. So the support I got, especially, locally in the local area is massive. And, I got to be thankful to them people, because essentially when people sort of talk about my name, they talk about how big of a following I got. And, so it's the people who's getting behind me, and making all the fuss on social media and making all the noise at the fights that's getting me that little bit more attention that maybe I wouldn't have if I didn't have them behind me. So, I'm thankful to them, and obviously I think they'll continue to keep it up for many years, hopefully, as long as I keep performing for them. And it is overwhelming. It's not mind blowing, but you know what I mean. It's one of them ones when people are stopping you in the middle of town, and asking for a photo or whatever. In my head, I'm still a young kid from Apleary, so to see to get that sort of attention and respect and people wanting me to do well is a big thing for me. And I do take a lot of motivation from it.
Yeah, no.
People stop me in Tesco as well to ask me where the Weetabix is.
You're more efficient
to get those t-shirts from as well, people.
But Lewis, you're quite famous, aren't you? You've been getting stalked as well recently.
Yeah, someone stopped me on the train to Cardiff because they'd seen my last interview with Jack. So
Lou's a local. Let me tell you, Lou's a local superstar. He's Wales' Ariel Awani is what he's going to soon be, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, Tank. But yeah, that was the last thing. So it shows how big Tank is down here that someone had actually seen that interview and sort of come up and said, yeah, saw the interview, well done. So, like I said, I think that speaks quite a lot about how sort of much of a following you are getting down here, Jack. So, like I said, hopefully it's going to continue to build. And when that UFC finally rolls round into Cardiff, you're going to be the one.
I'll be their ticket seller. Yeah, I'll be their ticket seller for the undercard, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, boys, just want to say a big thank you all for joining us tonight. Really do appreciate it. First of all, Cameron Wright, much appreciated the time, buddy.
Thanks very much. Well. Been great. Thanks.
I'd just like to say, Lewis, you're the greatest host ever of the Late Show. I think you should replace James.
So I'm going to start charging James Hamilton for every time I got to start stepping in for him now.
Yeah, because James couldn't manage tonight, but yet he's on our Facebook page right now doing a fucking live interview.
Who was he interviewing, Pete?
Brad Katona of the Ultimate Fighter.
Ah, right, okay. So he's ditched us for Brad Katona then?
Yeah. I said to him, if it was Conor McGregor, I would understand, but fucking Brad Katona. I thought, Brad, don't get me wrong, Brad's a good fighter. I like Brad. I've been watching him on the TV series. Great kid, great future. So I hope to see big things from him.
Yeah. So, James Hamilton, big shout out to you, buddy, but I'm going to be sending you a bill in the post. And Jack, you're going to be fighting on Cage Warriors 97, I believe, down in Cardiff, isn't it?
Yeah, 97.
When are tickets going on sale? Where can people hit you up for the tickets for that?
I believe within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, they've said I should have my hands on some tickets. So just contact me on any social media, and I'll be happy to sell you a couple. You know, you'll be in for a good night. So I'm sure you won't miss out. I'm sure you will miss out if you don't come and watch. So get your money out.
Any special offers for Lewis? Buy one, get free, no?
Well, they're £35 a ticket, so I said to Lou, we can have 2 for 70. I'll give that
Where can people follow you on social media, Tank? Give your social media a shout out for the people where they can find you.
Jack Show MMA on Instagram and Twitter, and Jack Tank Show on Facebook. I'm pretty active on here, so don't be afraid to drop me a follow.
Yeah. And Cameron, where can people follow you as well, buddy?
I'm only on Facebook at the moment, so you'll find me just writing on MMA UK.
You're gonna have to get signed up. And Pete,
Yeah.
social media shout out as well.
You can catch me in Pornhub.com watching chicks with dicks. So that's about it. I don't care if people follow me. I know nobody wants to follow me. I'm boring.
Follow Pete because you'll see a very wide selection of t-shirts and shirts. That sort of thing. Give him a follow.
I think I might have a special surprise for James next week if he's back. A special t-shirt just for him.
We'll look forward to that then, Pete. So guys, once again, thank you for taking the time to join me. And until next time, guys, have a nice evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Cheers, Lou.